takes Fridays off. All right, good morning.
Doug, do you have an update on Rodney McLeod's condition?
Well, you saw the report, and I can confirm that he did have surgery. But out of respect for Rodney, I'm not going to get into the details of the surgery. But
Is he going to be placed on IR?
we haven't made that decision yet.
Is it safe to say he's out for the season, or that decision hasn't
Still hasn't been made. Yeah, still can't say. I didn't look at you first. Sorry.
That's okay. Alshon Jeffery had an illness yesterday. Is he feeling better today?
Not really. There's a virus going around. Obviously, he's sick again. So, speaking to our doctors this morning, it's about a 24, 48-hour deal. So we're hoping it runs its course here pretty soon.
So if all you have to go off of is Wednesday's practice in terms of his on-field performance, did you see enough that if he's healthy with the virus, he can play on Sunday?
Yeah, we did, and then we still got tomorrow. Our departure is a little bit later in the day, so we can spend tomorrow getting him caught up too on some of the stuff that he's missed.
With Rodney being so good at playing kind of the deep middle there, is it sort of a mix and match and combine to fill that role, or what's the plan to fill that going forward?
Good question. No, I'm not going to get into roster decisions and what that plan is, but I've talked to Jim about it, and we've worked it in practice this week, and we've got options back there, obviously, moving some guys around, but we've got a plan, and we're comfortable with what we've got.
What about
Darren, we've tested Darren this week, and he's not there yet. He's getting close with that hamstring. And Jay is good. He's practiced well this week.
He was saying that he had a fracture in his back. I don't know if that's anything you've had experience with from a coaching standpoint or teammates or anything like that, but how do you go about managing?
It sounds bad, a fracture. I actually had that same injury when I played. It's a tolerate, go as tolerated. He's a tough kid, and he's battled through it, and he really has felt fine. He's felt fine through it. So it might sound bad, but he tough kid, and he doesn't want to miss another one.
Doug, as far as Tennessee goes, you've had a lot of success with RPOs. To face a quarterback that can do that kind of thing and add some zone read in there as well, just the mobility, what kind of difficulty does that present?
Well, it puts everybody, defensively a little bit more on a sense of urgency with some of the zone read. And they do a lot of things, a multiple offense, whether it's zone read, whether it's wildcat situations with runners back there, and just even the play action pass that can come off of it. So it's a unique style. Our defense is very comfortable having obviously practiced and played, against our offense. And it's a discipline. It's all about discipline, where your eyes are, training your eyes during the week, studying the film, and making sure your reads and your keys are right on point.
How do you think Nelson Aguilar's played over the first 3 games?
Man, I think he's played well, quite honestly. He's been real consistent. Even with not having Alshon out there, and of course we lost Mike Wallace a couple weeks ago. He's really stepped up and has taken a lot of the load from the receiver group, and we begin to hopefully get some guys back here. But I think he's played really well. He's a consistent target, obviously, for our quarterbacks, and they're real comfortable with him.
I know you don't want to disclose exactly what you're going to do at the safety position, but are you going to go with the people you have on the roster now? Do you need to bring people in or somebody in?
Well, we're looking. I mean, it's not like we're not. I mean, whatever we decide, with Rodney moving forward, we're going to constantly look and try to, if we can add depth at the position, we will. We're comfortable with who we have now currently on the roster, and we're going into this game with that.
Doug, as twisted as it sounds, how does the experience of losing so many key players last year help in dealing with Rodney's situation?
Well, it is key. I mean, we can lean on the experience. One thing that you're seeing this year differently from last year is, it's kind of hit one position group. Where last year it was spread out, over different position groups. But, I think it's something that we, as a staff, continue to. I'm I give compliments to my assistant coaches for preparing everybody and getting everybody ready to go for situations like this.
The personnel looks that you gave last week seem to be a lot different than what you had the week before. Is that just based on what your game planning is going in?
Yeah, a lot of it's based on who you're playing, the matchups you try to create, and each week is different, and it's why you study the film and you talk to and look at the different reports that we have generated, and that's kind of how your game plan gets formulated a little bit.
You mentioned enough from that 3 tight end set that you can maybe do a lot of things that pretty much anything from
I mean we feel like it's you can be in condensed tight formations and then turn around and spread the field just a little bit and go either empty or at least spread formations with that group, because they're smart, they're athletic, and these guys are good athletes, so something that we saw last week, and we'll try to, if we can, keep it going each week.
You mentioned there's a little bug going around the locker room, and it happens.
Did you get it yet?
I did not. Try to stay away from you guys. It does happen.
No, someone, I can't say that? Sorry. Too soon.
It does happen, though. I mean, what are the measures the team takes when you realize that starts to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with me when I start seeing it happening, just addressing the team, just making sure that we're, washing hands and maybe covering your mouth if you cough or sneeze, or whatever you can do. There's a lot of people, in an organization, especially around the football team, and sometimes you have to quarantine a guy and maybe just send him home with meds and get him hydrated and rested, and hopefully he's back the next day. So take the proper steps to make sure that nobody else gets it.
In the spring,
Not right now.
In the spring, Carson mentioned completion percentage as one area that he improved this year. In this offense, ideally, what is a target completion percentage you would like to see?
Well, I think if you're pushing close to 70%, that's extreme. I think that's a high number, but if you're in the upper 60s, I think is a realistic goal. In that 67, 68, even 69%. You see some of the top quarterbacks each year, they're 70-ish, 71, somewhere around there, and that's exceptional. And those can always relate to even, just sometimes just pulling the ball down and hitting the back in the flat, or a back over, a check down situation where maybe the throw is not there and you pull it down, which he did last week. And all that stuff is, from an offensive standpoint, it keeps us ahead of the chains. Now we're in a 2nd and 5 or 4, maybe even a 3, or third down, you get the first down by doing that. So yeah, if you're in the upper 60%, with the completion percentage, you're doing well.
Last year you have players
On the roster that are in contract years, this year you have a large number of starters that are in contract years. Do you ever notice how that affects guys, or how they go about playing under that kind of pressure?
You know what? No, I don't. Now I don't know what they say with their agents and if they're talking all that, but once you go out to practice, or you turn the lights on, the game's on, it's football, and these guys push all that stuff aside. I talk a lot about eliminating distractions, and that could be a source of a distraction for any player. So I haven't heard it, haven't seen it, especially when we're out on the field.
Last week you guys had those sequences where it's back to back, the same RPO, or even 3 in a row. What's your philosophy on coming back to stuff over and over again, not getting predictable, still being effective that way?
I love coming back to plays and have repetition there. Time on task is always a positive. When you can rep a play more than once or twice and come back to it in the game, because more than likely you're going to get a different coverage the second time or third time around. So I'm big about that, repeat plays and just helping our offense to stay on the field. And obviously it has to be conducive to the situation. We got a specific third down menu, so that might change just a little bit. But yeah, I'm a big believer in repeat plays.
Last one, please. Game. There's been a noticeable trend over the past couple of years where there's been more points allowed on the road than at home. Why do you think that is, and have you noticed a difference in the way the defense plays at home compared to on the road?
I think overall you got to look at the entire team. And it's something we talk about even during training camp is how we handle our road games. We expect to win, obviously, all our home games, and then how we handle the road is important. I mean, there's travel involved. There's usually family or fans, at the hotel. There's always little distractions that pull guys, coaches in different directions, and so it's how we manage and handle those. I think can correlate to how you play on game day. If there's something, when you're at home, you're at home. You can go to your house and you're there, and it's a little more structured. But it's just how we handle the road. The crowd noise, communication, all of that is a big part of the success that we had a year ago on the road, and we've got to maintain that again this year. All right, see you guys.